Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum friends. I hope everything is fine with all of you. Today we will learn about soil requirements for different types of ornamentals. Actually, soil is a very important consideration in selecting the site of a herbal garden and suitability of the soil. While some types of soil are ideally suitable for cultivation of many of the common medicinal plants, some soils are less suitable, while some offer to have still lesser suitability. The latter two types of soil may though be brought to a cultivatable condition in some cases, but this is likely to involve much expenditure. The following condition, however, used to considered as regard soil condition of the site of a herbal garden. Number one is elevation. Elevation means the upland may be considered as ideally suitable for cropping of most of the common medicinal plants or the ornamental plants. A medium upland may also be considered suitable in some cases, but a low-lying or very low-lying land offers little suitability. In such land, the water table is near the soil surface and becomes still nearer in rainy season, for which drainage of water becomes a serious problem in a low-lying land. Some ornamental plants which are not hampered by poor drainage, for example, Cypress rotundus, Ellipta alba, may though be grown in such a type of land, but plants which develop thick and fleshy roots could in no case be considered suitable to grow in such a land. Second is textural condition. The loam or sandy loam is no doubt the best type of soil for growing the ornamental plants, except few where soil of clay texture may have some suitability. It needs pointing out that soil having higher clay contents are unsuitable for growing such plants which develop thick and fleshy roots. The textural condition of the soil may, however, be improved to a considerable extent by regular application of organic manure in relatively high amount over some time. Impermeable stratum is the third condition of soil. The presence of hard pan in the subsoil is a great immediate of growing crops or ornamental plants. Hard pan soil is actually the soil that is underlaid by a rock hard layer of material close enough to the surface to limit the depth plants can extend their roots and to prevent internal drainage of the soil. The soil above the hard pan varies in depth from a few inches to 2 or 3 feet. This hampers vertical growth of roots of the plants and also drainage, eventuating stunted growth of the above ground parts of the plant. Before choosing the land, it is therefore necessary to dig a soil profile and examine the strata of the subsoil as well. Soil reaction is actually as a large number of ornamental plants or sometimes for large number of medicinal plants grow best in soil of neutral, nearer neutral, or those of partially acidic reaction. Such type of soil appears to be congenial. However, it needs pointing out in this connection that soil reaction of the cropping plots where the plants would be grown is of actual concern rather than the entire land. Besides, the reaction of the soil is also possible to be changed to bring to suitable pH value by judicious application of the soil. Amendments like lime, gypsum, sulfur, dust, etc. Enhanced soil reaction could not be regarded to be a serious bottleneck unless the soil is persistent with much of lime, nodules, black alkali, etc. Fertility status of the soil is no doubt an important factor to plant the ornamental plants or to grow the ornamental plants, but again it should be taken note of the fact that the fertility of the actual cropping plots where the plants are to be grown needs consideration rather than the entire land, and above all, enriching fertility of the soil is possible to be accomplished by application of plant nutrients in the form of manure and fertilizers. Nevertheless, extremely poor soil could be regarded to have little suitability to set up as a herbal garden or as a good ornamental garden unless the fertility is at first sufficiently improved in it. Freedom from dust. In some places such as near thermal power station, factories, etc., it is seen that dust particles, coals, ashes, etc., discharged by those are blown away in air and leave residue on the surfaces of the plants. The plants growing along unmetered roads are also seen to be covered with dust in many places. So such type of decomposition of these materials over leaves and other parts of the plants hampers transpiration, photosynthesis and respiration of the plants, and thus seriously hamper their growth. So the particles also act as pollutants over the ornamental plants and thereby hamper their usefulness. Such a site could not therefore be regarded to be suitable in setting up the garden. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum friends. I hope everything is fine with all of you. Today we will learn about soil requirements for different types of ornamentals. Freedom from dispute. It is also another important factor because the land there is to be used to set up the ornamental garden should however be free from any type of legal disputation so that no objections arises from anybody in its use. Soil sterilization is also another very important factor. Soil should be free from pathogenic microorganisms because the soil may contain many pathogenic microorganisms, means that is bacteria, viruses, fungi, nematodes and other pests. So it should also it is advisable to control them before planting. This pathogen may be of various Bacteria, notably agrobacterium species, they infect the plants and causes them to wilt, that is drying or rooting of the lower part of the stems or dropping of leaves on various other injurious symptoms. So to control this pathogenic microorganism, the soil may be heated either directly with electrically heated coils or passing the steams from a boiler. Heating should be done for about half an hour, maintaining a temperature of about 60 centigrade both on the surface of the layer and especially in the subsoil. However, heating is a hazardous procedure, and hence chemical method of the soil sterilization is largely followed for cultivation of crops. Most of these chemicals are used emanate volatile fumes which kills the pathogens almost instantaneously. Some of the chemicals that are commonly used includes chloropicrine, methyl bromide, formaldehyde, vapane, etc. So while killing the pathogenic microorganisms, they kill animal pests also. If any snake inhabits in the soil, which through is not a pest of any plant, is also repelled or killed by the fumes of the above chemical. So the fumes released by the said chemicals are highly toxic to the human beings. Therefore, this should be applied with utmost precautions, and the operator should use a mask and spectacles to avoid inhalation of the fume or coming in contact with the eyes. As long as the fumes remain present under the soil surface, they kill plants if grown there. Therefore, it becomes necessary to wipe out the fumes completely before any planting is done on the land. This should be done by spreading the soil or starting with a hoe a few times at interval of several days. Plugging the land deeply for 2 or 3 times at interval of several days is also effective to expel the fumes completely from the land. Apart from the fumigant chemicals, some other chemicals may also be used for the purpose, but the fumigants are much more effective. Besides the fact that when they are completely volatilized, no residue is left, unlike the non-fumigant chemicals which are effective on direct contact. Soil nutrients is also one of the very important condition or requirement of soil. Soil is actually a major source of nutrient needed by plants for growth. If soil is nutrient free, the soil is not best considered for the growth of plant. The three main nutrients are nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. Together they make up the trio known as NPK. Other important nutrients are calcium, magnesium and sulfur. Plants also need some quantities of iron, manganese, zinc, copper, boron, molybdenum, known as trace elements, because only traces are needed by the plants. So nitrogen is a key element in plant growth. It is found in all plant cells, in plant proteins and hormones, and in chlorophyll. So soil high in organic matter such as chocolate soils are generally higher in nitrogen. Podzolic soils, nitrogen is not directly absorbed by plants. It is converted or it is fixed by nitrogen fixation. Nitrate is easily leached out of soil by heavy rain, resulting in soil acidification. You need to apply nitrogen in a small amount, often so that plant use all of it in organic forms such as compost manure, so that leaching is reduced. Phosphorus also helps transfer energy from sunlight to plants. It stimulates early root and plant growth and hasten maturity. Potassium increases vigor and disease resistance of plants, helps from form and move starches, sugar and oils in plants, and can improve food quality. So muriate of potash and sulfur of potash are the most common sources of potassium. If potassium is low or deficient on many of the soil, the plants suffer. Calcium is essential for root health, growth of new roots and root hairs, and the development of leaves. It is generally in short supply in most of the soil. Then it is provided by external. Lime is the cheapest and most suitable option to use as calcium source. Magnesium is a key component of chlorophyll, the green coloring material of plants, and is vital for photosynthesis. Deficiency occurs mainly on sandy acids soil in high rainfall areas, especially if it is used for intensive horticulture or drying. Heavy application of potassium in fertilizers can also produce magnesium deficiency. So banana growers need to watch magnesium levels because bananas are big potassium users. Sulfur is a constituent of amino acids in plant proteins and is involved in large energy producing processes in plant. It is responsible for many flavor and odor compounds in plants such as the aroma of onions and cabbages. Sulfur deficiency is an aroma of many other plants, leaves and flowers as well. Sulfur deficiency is not a problem in soil high in organic matter, but it leaches easily. Now come to discuss quickly about some trace elements. Iron is actually a constituent of many compounds that regulate and promote growth and is really available in most of the coastal areas soil. Manganese helps with the photosynthesis. It is freely available in the coast acid soil, often in toxic amounts in very acid soils, but can be deficient in sandy soil. Toxicity in remnant with lime. Copper. It is also an essential constituent of enzyme in plants and is rarely available in coastal area soils. Although it can be deficient in red soils, toxicity can be a problem for horticulturists who regularly use Bordeaux mixture or copper oxychloride sprays to control diseases on horticultural crops. Zinc. It helps in the production of a plant hormone responsible for stem elongation and leafy expansion, and it is readily available in acid soils, but combines easily with irons in the north coast red soils. This is easily cured with the addition of zinc sulfate or crushed zinc minerals. Fruit trees can be sprayed with zinc. The second last is boron. It helps with the formation of the cell walls, is rapidly growing tissue. So deficiency reduces the uptake of calcium and inhibits the plant's ability to use it. molybdenum. It is a trace element and required in very little amount. It helps bacteria and soil organisms convert nitrogen in the air to solute nitrogen compounds in the soil. So it's particularly needed by leguminous plants and is also essential in the formation of protein from soluble nitrogen compounds. So from this note you can easily find soil nutrient is also very important requirement of best soil for the growth of plant. After demarcating the land in marking arrangement to prevent entry of trespassing in it, the owner of the garden should start for preparing the land or by the preparation of soil. So for this purpose the following steps should be followed. The details we have discussed in our last lecture, but thoroughly we will discuss here. Number one is removal of unwanted objects. Like the land processes for the garden may contain trees, broken buildings or hutments, rubbish, papers, plastic material, etc. at the soil surface or at the soil subsoil. So evidently this should be completely removed out from the land before any soil work is done there. If any there is existence, it should be cut out with root and branch, ensuring that no thick root remains present in the underground. Second is flattering. If the soil is not flat, it should be made so by plugging, spreading and leveling with wooden plank or iron roller. If depressions of greater depths are noticeable, this should be filled by shifting soil. The third is control of animal pests. The land obtained for the ornamental garden may be infested with a number of animal pests that are liable to hamper cropping of the plants. These are needed to be controlled before layout and planting are done for it. So for this purpose, mechanical removal of the agents or use of suitable biopesticides is advisable. In the following has been presented some of the biopesticides having effectiveness against pests, for example mites, termites and nematodes, like aphid for spraying of neem oil and pongamia oil, root knot nematodes by the application of neem cake at the time of soil preparation, mites and termites by the application of neem cake at the time of soil preparation. So it is also very important factor or requirement of soil before plantation. So students, thank you so much for being with me. This is a brief description about the soil requirements for different ornamental plants. I hope it is clear to you. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.